Want to go for a ride? Get in the car.
Welcome back, my Suba crew. Are some of you guys coming out of hibernation, just like me, from the winter? It's finally a nice day. Want to go for a drive? Let's do some chit chat. Let's do it. So, what do we got coming up? Simple Performance, the tuner in Salt Lake City. I finally scheduled an appointment with them. So, the pre-inspection is tomorrow. They're usually backed out like a month or so, so I'll be curious to see how long it'll take after the pre-inspection before they can get me in for the actual dyno. But the only thing I really needed to change in the process or the parts that I had from the last tune, which we did in Turbo Labs in Orem, Utah, was the turbo inlet assembly. So I heard the hard plastic on those can crack over time or with additional pressure on those. And after my first tune, so I actually had the stock turbo inlet on there, and I noticed my dam level went down a little bit from just being at 1, it went to like 0.875 or something like that. So just to be safe, I put the stock turbo inlet back on, that is opposed to the Perrin silicone hose one. Anyway, for this tune, I decided to go back to the Perrin silicone hose for the turbo inlet. So that's going to be basically the only part that's changed for this tune, besides adding all of the ethanol stuff. So it now has an E85 sensor from Cobb. It's got the WRX DW300C flex fuel capable fuel pump. Oh, we're getting on the highway. Let's give it a little rip. You can really hear that Boomba bypass valve. So it's on the intercooler pipe up on the front passenger side. But in combination with that Perrin turbo inlet, it really whistles. It sounds so awesome. Anyway, so we got the Cobb flex fuel sensor up front. Behind the rear seats, we got the WRX DW300C low pressure fuel pump. Then up front, we have the high pressure fuel pump, which is from Nostrum. So there's install videos on all those if you want to browse through the channel and check it out. Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm thinking we'll probably get up around 350 wheel horsepower and potentially towards 400 wheel horsepower. So they're not going to line up exactly like I said before. It's not going to be 350 exactly. It just depends on the results we get on the dyno. Also, they have a Mustang dyno. So some people call those the heartbreaker because they're always showing lower results as compared to a dyno jet. It can be 10, 12, 15% different. Every dyno is going to be a little bit different. But if we can get towards 350 wheel torque and maybe a little more than that on the horsepower, this thing is going to be crazy. Right now, the last dyno tune at the wheels on the dyno jet was 290 horsepower, and then it had like 320 foot-pounds of torque to the wheels. So it's going to be pretty good improvement. Even if it's only like 30 torque, we could be looking up to 100 horsepower. The difference on the ethanol content being introduced as opposed to regular pump gas. So getting E85 around here isn't the easiest thing in the world. There is not a lot of options. So in Orem, Utah, there is one gas station that has a pump that carries it, but from what I've heard from the community, like I'm on a Utah Subaru Facebook group, talking to some of the guys about it, and they say their ethanol content is all over the place. It could be like 50, 60%. It seems to always be way south of E85. So the main thing I want to accomplish with this, especially with getting that expensive Nostrum high pressure fuel pump is get high ethanol content and just put it straight in. I'm not even gonna have to mix with the pump gas. So that is gonna be awesome. It's gonna make things a lot easier. So that pump is like 40 minutes away from me anyway, and people are complaining that the content's not that great. It's or lower content or lower quality. So also asking around, like in the forums and the Facebook groups, there is just a shop in Murray, Utah, really close to me, and it's called Good Looking Dave's. And so I just stopped by there for the first time today. I had 4 of VP Racing jugs, like the 5-6 gallon jugs. So I filled those all up. He bought his own, I believe it was like a 1,000 gallon tank, and he pumps it for you. So it's not like a traditional customer fuel pump. You go into his garage and he's got a pump inside there, and he'll pump it in your jugs for you. He was charging $3.75. I mean, it's obviously more expensive than the regular pump gas here, but what you gonna do? He's the only one that got it. So he says his content is 90%, so even higher than E85, so E90. Again, the Nostrum high pressure fuel pump is capable up to 100% ethanol. So I'm just gonna pour that stuff straight in, and I'm hoping that at Simple Performance, where I'm getting the tune done, they are going to turn this thing up. They could turn it up way higher than the rods in the motor could handle. So as far as ethanol content goes, we're gonna have plenty of power potential. They're gonna probably take it easy on this, it being capable of destroying itself, so we'll put a limit to that. Yeah, I'm super stoked. So I took my jugs to that Good Looking Dave's auto shop to get the ethanol. I had my little canisters all buckled up, all nice in here. Then I took them back home. It is going to take some getting used to where I'm at on the needle and exactly how many gallons I need to pour back in to fill up the tank without spilling, because we're just going straight out of a jug and not like consumer grade fuel pump. But how's your guys' winter been? It's been a little bit. I just want to do a little chit chat, go for a drive. It was a nice day. We'll get you some more information on the tune. I hope I can get a little bit of footage of that. That would be cool to see. Let's see if we can get some more sound clips of that bypass valve. I don't know if you can hear that little twirly. It sounds so cool. So everything that's done to this car so far, let's see. So it has the Invidia N1 3-inch exhaust. So that's the single exit. We did the CNT headers. Those have been pretty decent so far. The one thing that I did have an issue with, and all the aftermarket headers are the same, like Perrin or Killer B, I believe, is you have a spacer that goes under your bottom metal skid plate. That skid plate basically covers your vital organs there, with your turbo assembly, turbo oil cooler, headers, all that good stuff. All the important stuff is covered by that. Stock headers, it fits, the metal skid plate fits just fine, but these aftermarket headers are bigger, so you're going to need some spacers to bring that down. It had provided spacers, so I put the spacers in, attached the skid plate. Later on, I did realize that the under tray has like 2 arms where it attaches to the bottom of the car. Anyway, those railings were pushing up against the header, so I kind of got some indentation on the header, so that kind of sucked. Anyway, I ended up adding extra washers to the header, and that brought it down a little bit more, so I had just enough clearance so that header wasn't being hit by the under tray. Let's see what else. What else did we put on the car? We did some oil catch cans. I noticed that the one on, which would be, let's see here, the driver's side. No, it would be the passenger side, was collecting definitely a noticeable amount of oil. The one on the driver's side wasn't collecting very much at all. I'm actually going to take those cans in, or take them out, and look at the content, see how much oil we have in there. We'll check that out. We have the Mishimoto Intake. We have that Perrin turbo inlet assembly. It's just that silicone hose. Boomba bypass valve. Cobb flex fuel sensor kit. Nostrum high pressure fuel pump. Oh, we just did the spark plugs. Are fresh, less than 1,000 miles. Oil was changed about 1,000 miles ago. I'm debating whether I will put the oil, new oil in again, change it again, even though it's been 1,000 miles. It's kind of debatable whether that's necessary or not. All right, back in the garage, let's take a look at those VP Racing fuel jugs we got. We got 4 of them. I have them garbage bagged up just so they would be safe, and if there's any potential mess, that might minimize it, but they stayed sealed pretty well. We buckled them up in the seat belts on the way home. So on this, on the top of the container, just has a 1/2-inch bit. So just like that you'd have on your sockets, 1/2-inch sockets. Just fit your drill right in, zip them right off. Yep, smells like alcohol. Do not drink that. So this kit came with a fuel filler for each one. So that will just screw in like that. So I'm going to have to get used to the fill up points where I'm on my fuel gauge, because I'm going to be filling it by hand. Don't want to spill, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Let's check the oil catch cans. I don't know how many thousands of miles these have been on here, but we got the passenger side. Last time I checked that, it was picking up a noticeable amount of oil blow by and preventing it from going back in the motor, which is good. This side, when I checked it last time on the driver's side, there wasn't a noticeable amount. So let's unscrew the cans from the bottom and take a look and see what we have collected in there. All right, let's remove this oil catch can first. I do expect there to be some collected in here. Now, the top portion will remain mounted, then it actually just unscrews from the bottom. Now, these do come with kind of, I call them, they look like a aluminum Brillo pad like you would use to clean pots and pans or something like that. I don't think I put one on this side, but I did the other side. Again, last time I checked, this one was trapping some oil, but the other side wasn't. So we just grab down here at the bottom, and then we unscrew this. Give me a second here. Okay, then pull it out. Now there is a dipstick under here, so go past that. Okay, it looks like I did put the oil collector in this one. Let me show you in there. It looks like there is quite a bit. All right, let's grab this side. I think on this one it looks like we don't have enough clearance to pull the can out from the bottom. So let's remove it from the mount here. Now I had made a little spacer there for myself. All right. Again, on this side, you'll get a better look. There is a lot of threads on it. See where the dipstick goes down. Okay, it was this one. I didn't put the oil catching material. See, there's just the smallest amount in this one. Let's go look at the other one. Okay, so this was the driver's side, and it's been running for several thousand miles. There is not much oil in there, but it is catching some. I think this time, so here's that oil collecting material. I'll put it in and we'll start using it. Why not? In this side, I can already feel that it is going to have quite a bit in it. Let me get some paper towels or something. Okay, pull out the material. Oh yeah, look at that. Let it drip dry a little bit. So look at that. There's quite a bit in there. Let's see how much. Yeah, it's definitely doing its job catching that oil blow-by. Especially the more horsepower you have, the more important that is. Impressive. It's doing its job. I'm so glad it's spring. It's so awesome today. Thanks for joining me for my little drive. So the simple performance tune. Let's see how close we can get to that 400 wheel horsepower on their Mustang dyno. Now, we have the pre-inspection scheduled tomorrow. Hopefully everything's put on right. Everything's in place. Nothing falls off. Nothing goes wrong. So I'm not sure where that'll correlate to when they're going to get me on the dyno. They're usually booked out like a month in advance. Me having my pre-inspection done, I don't know if that bumps me up, or we still have a couple weeks before that happens. I will keep you up to date on that. Hey guys, you like this sort of stuff? You like Subaru stuff? Hit the thumbs up button. It just takes a second. It really helps the small channels get viewed by more people. If you are into that sort of stuff, browse through the videos on my channel. See if any of those interest you and consider subscribing. I appreciate you watching my video, and I'm out.